It's been a while since I've sat down and just told a story from my past. With all the podcasting, what about some of the strange, funny, and just plain weird things that have happened over the last 46 odd years? Now, many of you know I used to be part of the Society for Creative Anachronism. Think Civil War or Revolutionary War reenactors, but from the Middle Ages. Think Ren fairs, but without the Disney-esque scripting. There's all kinds of arts, from fine to performing, from cooking to dancing. We fight in armor using solid rattan swords to beat each other black and blue. One of the old guard SCA guys I know puts it this way. On a good day, the SCA is an Arthurian fantasy social club with a martial art. On a bad day, it's Road Warrior. So come back with me more than 20 years. The coronation of Cuan McDaig, March 6th, 1993. A field in a camp, somewhere in rural North Carolina. Picture, if you will, a young man, 23 years old, dressed as a young medieval nobleman, play fighting with a child of about 9 years old using padded swords. Our hero, let's call him Angus, watches the sun in the morning sky trying to judge the time because the royal coronation parade is about to begin soon, and he has an important role. Angus is to ride one of the two horses for the barony of Windmaster's Hill, which is the central North Carolina area, Raleigh, Durham, Chapel Hill, and Fayetteville. Angus is fit, as he has spent most of the last 3 years as a paratrooper in the 82nd Airborne Division, so naturally the small child is clobbering him. Angus, this fit paratrooper, this paragon of manly virtue, knows that it is important for him not to be late for the parade, and even more importantly, not to lose the baronial horses. They are both stored neatly in the same barrel that the padded swords came out of. What? You didn't think they were going to let Angus ride an actual horse in a parade, did you? Sure, he's brave, fit, and technically at least a combat veteran, but no one's actually stupid enough to let him sit on a real horse when there are people around that he could trample, when inevitably he signals the horse to gallop when he meant to turn left. Now, these are custom-made, highly decorated stick ponies, and one of a kind, irreplaceable, highly sought after. And even now a thief is creeping up on the sword barrel to steal the ponies. He's exactly what you'd picture when you think of a thief. Thin, short, nimble of finger, slight of build, shifty of gaze, and altogether untrustworthy looking. He's about 18 or 19, perhaps of college age, and has that peaky look common to hungry thieves and poor college students alike. I hope he was just a college student moonlighting, as he was a terrible thief, because I saw him coming as clearly as if he'd lit a signal flare and marched at the head of a band playing Anchors Aweigh. Maybe you hadn't guessed it, but Angus was me. I knew that horse thieves abounded in these lands. The event flyer said so. It said right in the printed notice, "Horse thieves abound. Protect your ponies. Board your horse with the Eyes and Fear Stable Authority. Reasonable rates. Security assured." And there was one of those horse thieves. What he thought I was going to do when he laid his hands on my horse, I will never know, but what I did, he will never forget. I pivoted left and lashed out with my sword in my right hand, shouting, "Thief! Thief! Thief!" and with each word struck the poor unfortunate another blow. Left, then right, then left again, stepping and striking and shouting, landing blow after blow on his unprotected head and arms and upper body. I think the child who'd been earlier beating me up even joined in. The thief ran for his very life. The swords were padded, but I didn't hold back much. They were Schedule 40 PVC pipe covered with one layer of foam pipe insulation and some duct tape. This wasn't exactly patty cake I was playing with him, but he did try to steal the baronial stick pony, so he brought it on himself. Feeling pretty good about my defense of the baronial livestock, I went back to getting beaten up by the small child. About 15 to 20 minutes later, this woman, this blonde woman, this absolutely stunningly attractive, totally out of my league, rolls up on me, looks me up and down, flutters her eyelashes like some Southern belle on speed, and breathily declares, "Oh, Angus, the Baron needs to speak to you in the dining hall right away." Now, ladies, you're totally going to get this, but guys, mostly you aren't. But she looked me up and down like I was Mary's little lamb, she was the butcher, and I was walking by the butcher shop just a bit too slow. To that point in my life, I had never felt any empathy at all for those women who complained about being objectified and treated like a piece of meat. Well, let's just say I could see her carving me up in her mind. Flank steak for dinner, rump roast for lunch, maybe some scraps for the dog. It wasn't comfortable at all. I was frankly intimidated. Maybe terrified was a better word for it. I had no idea why this woman was talking to me, but whatever it was, I knew it had nothing to do with the Baron, the dining hall, or her uncontrollable desire to throw herself at this paragon of manly virtue who was currently looking for an escape route. Any escape route. Thanks. Parade. Now. Bye. I grabbed the stick ponies and ran. I think I was pretty articulate under the circumstances. I found the Baron down on the field, nowhere near the dining hall, which made me start to wonder even more about this woman. I did a little checking after the parade. The military called it reconnaissance. I think everyone else calls it spying. And what I figured out was she was sitting in a little patch of grass with a college student from the University of Virginia. She was from the Shire of Eisenfear, and so was that kid who tried to steal the stick ponies. It all became clear. The Eisenfairies were stealing stick ponies, and they were running a stick pony stable to protect people from stick pony thieves. Those dirty, low-down chiselers. Well, I'll show them. Now, you might not know it, but I'd gotten pretty good at meeting the ladies. Notwithstanding that last encounter, but that was a special case. One of my favorite tricks was I'd carry some Hershey's chocolate kisses with me in a little pouch. I'd tell them, "My lady, you are so beautiful that I have to give you this kiss." And just as they were about to get offended, I'd hand them some chocolate. Even the diabetic women liked it. They'd skip the chocolate and let me kiss their hands. I met a lot of nice women that way. This blonde bombshell, on the other hand, well, I needed to fix her wagon for her. She'd tried to steal my stick ponies, had intimidated me, and had scared me off. Yeah, I got something for her. I squared my shoulders, strode up to where she was sitting with her friends like I owned the place, and I said, "My lady, you were so beautiful I have to give you this kiss. Right down your dress." And I launched it from about 5 feet out, and it was nothing but net all the way down. I turned on my heel, and if it happened today, you know the music they'd play in the soundtrack of the movie as I strode away like a boss. Oh, Angus, if you're bold enough to put a kiss down my dress, why surely you're bold enough to retrieve it. Oh, dear God. I'm very glad I was facing the other way so no one saw my face. I composed myself as best I could and turned around and said, "Yeah?" In any other circumstances, this would have been a dream come to vivid Technicolor life. This was 16 candles, Pretty in Pink, and The Breakfast Club all rolled into one. Except it wasn't. And now I had 20 eyeballs following my every move. I squared my shoulders, made the best eye contact I could manage under the circumstances, and down I went. And down. And down. I'm pretty sure I found the stupid thing somewhere between an underwire and her belly button. You'd think that stuffing your hand down the front of a woman's dress would make you the aggressor, but you'd be wrong. Oh, so wrong. It was like the nicest, softest, warmest Gom Jabbar pain box ever invented. I wasn't allowed to take my hand out until I'd retrieved the chocolate. I wasn't allowed to wander about feeling things that weren't on my way to the chocolate. And I wasn't allowed to show fear, doubt, or hesitation. The Reverend Mother would have laughed herself sick. Finally, after what seemed an eternity, I managed to capture the elusive kiss between my index and middle finger. I carefully pulled it out, with a tiny flourish I must have thought would look suave, but probably looked dorky. I looked her dead in the eyes and I said, "I suppose you'd like me to peel this for you." "Oh, yes." Damn. So I did my best to peel the half-melted chocolate kiss in something that approached a not totally foolish manner, and held it up for her to take. She stood, and this blonde bombshell, all 5'10" or 5'11" of her, looks me right back, dead in the eyes, and ate the kiss from my fingertips. All I have to say is that it's a good thing my knees were locked. Collapsing right there in front of her and her friends wouldn't have done me any good. I needed to escape. I mumbled something, hopefully intelligible, turned, and did my best to stride away in a manly fashion. 1 foot in front of the other. That's right. Keep walking. Don't forget to breathe. You've got this. Phew. I actually got to know her pretty well later. Her name was Lady Susanna Gray. In reality, Susanna was about as intimidating as a 6-week-old puppy, and every bit as sweet, unless you thought she was a pushover on the battlefield. Then she was going to take her solid rattan sword upside your head and remind you that cute does not equal tame. I fought by her side many times. She was as much a lion on the battlefield as she was a lady in court. It was an honor to have her let me stand by her side in either place. We never dated, in case you were wondering. She was more of one of those stars I used to chart my way in life. A fixture in the firmament I could use to see if I'd gotten turned in the wrong direction somehow. I haven't seen Susanna in years. She dropped out of the SCA before I did. When I told her how intimidated I was of her when we first met, she was incredulous. She remembered who she was way back then and couldn't imagine anyone being impressed with her, much less scared to death of her. It just goes to show, you never know how people will perceive you. Sometimes their image of you is filtered through their own strange frame of reference. They say that first impressions last. That's true, but the truth will out, if you let it.